It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Well, good day again, everybody, and welcome to the program. Brad Miller with you. It's County-Wide once again, and we're happy to welcome into the studio David McAtee. And David is the Public Information Officer with the Yavapai County Community Health Services. And we say hello to you, sir.
Good morning.
Good to have you here.
Thanks.
Chipper on a nice
yes.
early and crisp
morning,
Thursday. Yes. As we do our program here, we're kind of right in the middle of holiday season. Thanksgiving weekend just passed. The Christmas holidays, New Year's and so on still coming up for an awful lot of people, including me. That's food and good times and those kinds of things. And I wanted to chat with you about a number of things today.
Sure.
But if we could kind of start about, I was just kind of kicking around before Thanksgiving and saw some interesting things about food storage. You always think about Thanksgiving and the leftovers and how yummy that can be. And I was startled to find turkey, I think, was keep it in the fridge 2 days. Certain other things, just 1 or 2 days where, I mean, a week later, we're still kind of gnawing on parts of that turkey. I shouldn't say that maybe, but
the leftovers are so good. How long can they really last? Anyways,
how long can they really last? And so I wanted to, and that's exactly it. And I wanted to kind of talk to you maybe generically about, especially holiday times, we're making maybe sometimes more exotic dishes than we might, and some ingredients, fresh things that we maybe don't work with a lot. And so I want to kind of talk about just kind of kitchen safety and making sure we have a healthy and safe thing. If you would, before we started the show, you were sharing with me just some quick numbers about food poisoning or things that can kind of go wrong.
Yeah. People don't really think that seriously about food poisoning, unfortunately, and it can be very serious. 1 in 6 people this holiday season will get food poisoning, which is, as you sit around your table of 6 people, look around, one of you is getting sick.
Who's getting it?
Yeah, and unfortunately it doesn't typically work that way. It's the whole family. Sure. It's the veggie dip that didn't quite get washed properly.
Right.
But 100,000 people this year will be hospitalized because of food poisoning, and close to 1,000 people will die from food poisoning. And it's not just that you get sick for 24 hours and you unfortunately throw up quite a lot, but it can have lasting effects.
Yeah.
It can lead to arthritis and kidney failure, and of course in some cases death. So it is very serious.
Do those numbers spike at holiday time, or
they do? In fact, that 1 in 6 is basically between November and December. 1 in 6 people will experience some form of food poisoning.
I'm sure the traces are many, or the points, the reasons are many, but if we trace that, are these usually going to be like cleanliness issues, temperature, storage issue?
A little bit of both.
Where's it come from?
One of the things that I always tell people is you got to remember 4 things: clean, separate, cook, and chill. Clean is the first thing you do, and that starts with yourself, your hands. You've got to wash your hands, and that doesn't mean 20 seconds of water. That means 20 seconds of soap and water, and don't wipe it on your shirt. Use a paper towel and then throw the paper towel away.
Curtains.
Right.
Okay.
And then also clean your prep area. That's really important. Most people don't think about that. That counter that maybe the cat jumped up on is dirty. So please clean your counters, your cutting boards, and even some of your food. Your vegetables should be washed. Unless it's been prepared already, wash it with some water. Don't use soap. Just rinse it off with some water.
Are you talking like fresh vegetables?
Yes.
Frozen, canned?
That's probably okay. If it's been processed, it's been washed. But if you buy a cucumber from the store, when you bring it home, you should wash it with water.
Just its exposure, it seems like sitting in the store.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows who's picked it up?
Right.
And so on and so forth.
Well, and even as you walk through the store and maybe you've picked up a turkey as well, you want to keep those things separate as well.
Right.
So don't mix your vegetables and your meats in your bags or in your refrigerators.
That goes for pre-cooked storage and post, I assume.
As far as separating,
separate, just different things that should be kind of.
Yeah, if you go to the grocery store before Christmas and buy a bunch of stuff, keep the meat stored down low so that if they do thaw out and they drip, you don't want them dripping into your vegetables.
Gotcha.
And keep your vegetables up high. Wash them. Interestingly, the meat products you don't want to wash. Sometimes the turkey feels a little slimy. You don't want to rinse it off. What you're doing is you're actually spreading the germs to your sink, to your countertops, and that's not good. So just leave your meats alone.
I'll take like a whole chicken, and I've got a rotisserie, and I always take that and run the whole darn deal under cold water. You tell me that's maybe not a good idea?
It's really not.
Is that right?
Yeah, you really don't want to do that. And I know sometimes a lot of chefs will say you can wash the fish, and fish is a good idea to rinse out, Sure. But with your turkeys and your hams, I know they kind of feel like something's not quite right. Leave it alone. It's going to cook, and that's going to take care of it. And really all you're doing is you're just splashing that germs on your counters, in your sink, on your hands.
Right.
So just leave it alone.
When we talk about, you talked about cleaning up the kitchen area, the prep area, and then the cooking and so on and so forth. Tell me about that tried and true tradition that all of us grew up with in the Midwest anyway, and maybe everywhere, the old washcloth that Grandma made.
Yes, throw that away.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Throw it in the fireplace. No, it's probably the harbor of germs more than anything else. And so you want to use paper towels. And I know that's not the most green thing in this PC world, but you want to use a paper towel. You know, those 6 people sitting around your dining room table will appreciate the fact that you threw away a paper towel and didn't use the kitchen counter table that's been sitting there for a while.
Right. Okay.
So,
I've heard that you can take the kitchen sponge is kind of the same thing.
Just as bad.
A little zap in the microwave can kind of clean that up. You're saying
yeah, it's questionable. Honestly, the best thing are those wipes they've got bleach in them. That you wipe something down and you throw it away. Okay. That's really the best way to go.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah.
Good stuff. I chuckle as we're talking about this, and not to diminish what you're saying, because I'm thinking, well, we do that wrong at our house. We do that, and probably a lot of our listeners and viewers are as well.
Yeah.
Not by any means do you mean to. You just, and it's not even, maybe it's a little tiny bit of laziness, but mostly I think people just aren't aware of that kind of cross-contamination and how quickly that can happen, and without even kind of thinking about it.
And that's really why I'm here talking to you today, because I want people to get through the holiday season without being sick.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to do that is just to wash up, just to start right, and just do it right.
Okay, let's take a short break. Our guest is David McAtee. We'll talk about a number of other things. There's been some food recalls that David has made us aware of and that we've passed on to our listeners and viewers. David's with the Yavapai County Community Health Services. We'll take a break and be back after this.